Hi, now we are going to discuss about operators in system Verilog. In addition to the standard Verilog operators, system Verilog adds C operators. So these are all the operators we have in system Verilog. So these are blocking statements. For example, A plus equal to B. If you give like that, it implies A equal to A plus B. The same way you can use addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, modulo division, and XOR, or then shift operators. Okay, this is called logical shift, and this is arithmetic shift. Logical shift perform as a normal shift operation. It will perform left shift and it will perform right shift. When it shift the MSB position, when this is a right shift, when you perform a right shift, the MSB position is filled with zeros. Here this is called arithmetic shift. It is used for signed bits. When you perform arithmetic shift, the signed bit will be shifted. When you perform right shift, the signed bit is 1. That indicates it is a negative number that will be shifted. 1 is shifted and 1 will be appended here. Okay. The left shift will operate as like a normal left shift. It will be shifted the bits left side, and it is 0 will be appended at the end. Then bump blocking assignments only. No RHS timing constructs. Here, when you give plus plus a, that is similar to a equal to a plus 1. Okay. So this is to decrement. There's a difference between these two. Okay. This is increment and it will perform the operation. This will perform the operation and then a value get incremented. And this is the power operator exponential. Now we are going to see the difference between logical shift and arithmetic shift. Here B is a bridge 9:0. Default it is a unsigned. Bridge is a unsigned defaultly. So if you explicitly mention with the keyword signed, B behave as a signed variable. So signed variable can hold positive and negative numbers. In the same way, A signed, it is a variable of bridge 10 bit. It is declared as a signed one. And A unsigned, it is an unsigned bridge 9:0. The same way, C signed is declared and C unsigned. Okay. Now the value of B is given as 10 bit tick SP, that is signed bit. So this is a signed binary value. It is a negative number. It is represented with the help of this signed bit. Here in this always com block, I am performing right shift 2 times. It is an arithmetic shift. It will shift right side and it will append the signed bit. So see the in the log file or transcript file. Okay, here I am displaying A signed. A signed is nothing but B right shift 2 times. So see here, actual bit is this one. It is right shifted. So these 2 bits are neglected. Okay. So this is this one. Okay. Then it is shifted right side and it is append with the signed bit 1 1. 1 is available here, so it is append with 1 1. If 0 is present here, it is append with 0. Here I want to display this in binary. You can mention here B. In system Verilog, if you want to mention in binary format, you can also mention like $display B and the variable name. If you want to display in hexadecimal, $display h, that within bracket you have to mention the variable name. If you didn't mention anything, it will display in decimal format. Okay. Then for a unsigned variable, I am performing logical right shift. So this is a logical right shift. It perform. Okay. It's shifted and it's appended with zeros. It's the difference between arithmetic and logical shift. Then C signed, I am performing left shift, arithmetic left shift. So this is the actual value. So left shift, MSB 2 bits are neglected, and this is the pattern we are getting. And 2 bit is appended here, 0 0. If you perform logical left shift, that also behave as same of arithmetic left shift. You are getting the same output. Then one more thing here. To perform right shift for a particular value. Okay. Each time when you perform right shift, the value will be divided by 2. Each time when you perform left shift, the value will be multiplied by 2. For example, now the value of B is 100. Okay. So I am performing right shift and left shift. Let's see the output. B value is 100. If I do one time right shift, the value will be divided by 2. That is 100. 100, that is divided by 2, it's 50. Here I am performing 2 times. So 50 divided by 2 is 25. Okay. The same way when you perform left shift, the value will be multiplied by 2 for each time when you perform shift. Here we are performing 2 times. So 100 becomes 200 and 200 becomes 400. See here the output is multiplied by 2 into 2. Okay. So these are all the operators I mentioned here, right? So these operators, system Verilog, if we represent like this, it means that in Verilog we are representing A equal to A plus B. Instead of that, we can mention A plus equal to B. Okay, these both are similar. And if you mention A equal to B plus plus, that means that A equal to B, that will happen first, and then B value get incremented. When you give A equal to plus plus B, B value get increment and then it is assigned to A. Then here in this example, so if you mention like this, if of A equal to B, when you mention like this, these two things are happening here. The value of B is assigned to A, and A's condition is checked here. If of A equal to B, it is equivalent to A equal to B, and if of A. Okay, both things are happening here. For assignment, you need to mention the bracket. Okay. So here A value is 1, B value is 2, C value is 3. In this condition, B value 2 is assigned to A, and if of 2 we are checking. If it is logic high, logic 1, so it get into this display. It is displaying value of A is 2. B value is assigned, right? 2. Here A equal to B equal to of C equal to 5. So C value is 5. This value is assigned to B, and this value is assigned to A. So now when you display A, B, C values, all values are becoming 5. The next operator is logical implication and logical equivalence. So logical implication indicates when this expression satisfied, this expression should happen. Logical equivalence, when this expression satisfied, this expression too should happen. Else this expression 2 happens means this expression 1 should be happen. So this is the logical equivalence. For example, let's mode is a variable. It consists of uh, small, large, and medium. Okay. So if we assign mode as small, the length is another variable. Okay, length should be less than 10. Length value should be taken less than 10. If we another example, when you fix mode as large, the length should be 100. Or else when you fix or assign length as 100, mode should be large. Okay. So this implication and logical equivalence that we are used in constraints, okay, that we will discuss later. And wildcard equality operator. So this one indicates wildcard equality, equal to question mark, wildcard operator. And wildcard inequality is represented by not equal wildcard. Here in the left hand side variable, that is in here it is b, in the given bit position x and z are present means, okay, it will be treated as wildcard. That will be matched with the value of a. Where x and z are present, that will be matched with value of a. But in the left hand side variable, if x and z are present, that will not treated as a wildcard. Only it is applicable in the right hand side variable consists of x and z, that will be treated as a wildcard. Okay, we will see with the example. Okay, here I assigned data as a 8-bit. Okay, I am assigned value ff. It is nothing but 8-bit 11111. 8 bits are 1. Within this initial block, I am checking data wildcard equality. Okay, I am checking data is equal to this value or not. Here inside on the right hand side, 8 tick b, 1 x is that terms are present, and the remaining we have 1 terms. Okay, so as per this wildcard equality, if x and z terms are present, this will be treated as a wildcard, that will be matched with the data. Instead of this x, it will take as 1. Instead of the z, it will consider as 1. So it will satisfy this condition, and you will get the display of this one, data 8-bit 1 matched with the given data. See here, this one is coming. Then next is wildcard inequality. That is not a equal to wildcard. Okay. That means here x and z are treated as wildcard, but you see here last bit is 0, but actually in data all bits are 1, so it is not equal, right? So we are checking for not equal to, so it is true, so we are getting this display. Okay, 111 does not match with the given. Okay. Okay, the next one is streaming operator. The streaming operator performs packing of bit stream types into a sequence of bit in user specified order. That means, okay, array. Okay, let's explain the diagram. Okay, this is the array. We have two arrays. One is array of 0. Another one is array of 1. It consists of 16 bit from 0 to 15. Okay. This is also from 0 to 15. It is called unpacked format. Okay. Now, with the help of streaming operator, I am going to make this a packed format. So this will be a packed format. So this is 0th bit and this is 31st bit. So totally you have 32 bits here. It is 0 to 15 and 0 to 15, 32 are split. Here it is combined here as a packed format. See here, array, we have array of 0 and array of 1. Okay, with the help of streaming operator. So this is the way you have to mention with this curly bracket, streaming operator and array. So if it is given like this direction, it will take from the MSB bit, array of okay, from here to first 16 bit it will take. Okay. Here array of 0 and array of 1, that is they are representing as array. That value is taken and it is assigned to value pack variable. Value pack variable is a 32 bit. So this whole thing, this one is okay, this one is assigned here and this one is assigned here. Okay. So this is called packed. And here it is given that use the specified order it will do. So in case if I mention byte, it will access 8 bits only. Here value is a Q. If you mention dollar within this bracket, it indicates that it is a Q. Okay. Q, each location it is capable to store a byte, 8 bit you can be able to store. So array of, here we are mentioning the how much it should be take from the array. Okay. Streaming operator, and we have to take a byte from the array and we have to pass to the queue. It means that 8 bits we have to take from this array and we have to put in the queue. The queue has 4 locations needed for this example. Each location it can capable to store 8 bit, that is declared as a byte. Okay. So first this is stored to the queue value of 0 and this is stored to the value of 1 and this 8 bit is stored to value of 0, 1, 2 and this is for value of 3. Okay. This way it will perform. Okay. So this one is unpacked. Okay. If you mention the streaming operator in the left hand side, it means that it's the unpacking. Okay. So this is called packing. So separate 16 bit is packed to a single name is value pack. Okay. Now from the value pack I am taking the 32 bit and I am put to array of 0 and array of 1. Okay. So this is called unpacking. Okay. Then this symbol, if I mention right towards right side, it will take from the MSB and it will move this side. If we mention as a towards left hand side, it will start from the LSB position. From there it will take. Okay. So in the given example, array of 2, that means we have two array. One is array of 0, another one is array of 1. Each array can capable to store 16 bit. Okay, bit 15 is 0, so it can capable to store 16 bit. So this is one of the way to assign the values to the array. Tick first step. Within this curly bracket we need to mention the values for arrays. So two arrays, one is array of 0, for that we are giving this value. Another one is array of 1, for this we are giving this 16-bit value. Now here byte value of dollar equal to streaming operator array. So as I explained, so array is nothing but this one. Okay. So from this array, from MSB position, from here I am going to take 8 bits. One thing you can mention like this, you can mention how much we want to take from the array, or otherwise these values capable to store 8 bits is declared at byte. So it can store only 8 bits. So it will take automatically 8 bits by 8 bit. So first it will take this part, okay, and it is assigned to value of 0, and this value, these 8 bits are taken and it is assigned to value of 1. In the same way it will do. And here this line, bit 31 is to 0, value 2. Value 2 is a vector, 32-bit vector. So from here, the help of streaming operator, from here the whole array is taking and the whole values put in the value 2. Okay. See here, and here I am displaying the value 2 value. See, value 2 value is, it is a 32-bit. It is combined as a single vector. Then using for each loop, I am going to display the value of q along with the index. So value of percentage d, it is used to represent the index, and equal to percentage b is used to represent the value. So value of 5. So here this is the first value, is put in the queue of 0, this 8 bits, and this the next 8 bits. Okay. And this is third one we are getting, and fourth one. So after this we are performing unpacking. Unpacking in the sense, from value of 2, that is 32-bit vector, is in packed format. Now I am going to unpack that and going to put in array of 0 and array of 1. So we have to use the streaming operator in the left hand side and array of 0, array of 1. So automatically it will take and put in array of 0 and array of 1. This consists of 16-bit and this consists of 16-bit. And with the help of for each, I am going to display the value of array 0 and array 1. See here, this is for array 0, this value, and remaining this value is for array 1. Then for loop, so in Verilog, we have to declare the variable, that is I or j, whatever we are using in the for loop, we need to declare that as an integer. Okay. In the top of the code we are declaring that, but in system Verilog, so we can declare the variable here itself as an int. Okay. Int j equal to 0, j less than or equal to 20, and j plus plus. Instead of j equal to j plus 1, we can mention as j plus plus. Okay. This j is local to this for loop only. Here in this example, see here, k is a variable I declare on top of this for loop. Okay, it is a global variable. In the code, it is global. Here inside the for loop, again I declare a variable k, int j equal to 0 and k equal to 10, and I am checking the condition j less than or equal to k, and this condition satisfied, it will get into this for loop, and this is not satisfied, it come out from the for loop. Each time I am incrementing the j value and I am decrementing the k value. So here I use one k variable, and here also I am using one k variable, but this k variable, which is declared inside the for loop, okay, that will be treated as a local variable to this for loop, so it will not affect or clash with the global variable. Okay. For example, hash 10, we are displaying the value of k and j. Okay. Then this is one procedure block, this is another procedure block. Inside this initial block, as 40, I am displaying the k value. Okay. So when I run this code, at 0 time j value is 1, it is printing k value is 10. Then after 10, next iteration, j becomes 1 and k becomes 9, and next iteration j becomes 2 and k becomes 8. So here it is mentioned after at the 40 time unit, this line should be displayed. So it is getting displayed. Here if you see k value is 19, it should not take k value which is present in the for loop. It's global, but if you mention the variable inside the for, it will consider as a local to that for loop. Then again it continues, j value becoming 3 and k value becoming 7 until this condition satisfied. When both are equal, it will get into it. When j value greater than k, that time it will come out from the loop. Next is for each loop. It is especially used for arrays. Arrays in the sense fixed array, dynamic array, associative array, and queue. We can use this for each loop. Okay, iterates over all the elements of the array. So this is the general syntax for each array name and loop variable. Then whatever the statements you want to run, that you can give here. Loop variable, generally we will use I, j. You don't need to declare those variables. It will take differently. For example, int array 10. I am creating a array with 10 locations. The locations are array of 0 to array of 9. Each location it can capable to store 32 bit. It is declared as a int. For each array of I. So here I can take from value from 0 to 9. Okay, it will display here. Okay, with the help of $display, we are going to display the array along with the index value. So this is where you have to mention array of %d equal to %d. Decimal, we are going to display the index. It is %d. I have to mention I, that is nothing but index, comma array of I. It is nothing but the value which is present ith location for this %d. Okay. You can also use nested loops this way. Int mem of 8 of 4. That means we have 8 rows. In each row we have 4 subdivisions. In the 4 division, each division we can able to store 32 bit. Okay, that is integer. For each mem of I comma j, we need to mention here. It will first here if you see mem of 8 means we have 0 to 7. Okay. Here we have 0 to 3. So first I value assigned as 0 and j value will first it will take 0 and 1 and 2 and 3. And next iteration I value becomes 1 and j value increment start from 0 and increment by 1. 0, 1, 2, okay. And I value again increment, it is becoming 2 and j goes from 0 to 2. Okay. This way it will perform. So to display the memory value along with the index, we need to write like this: $display mem of %d is for ith location and %d this is for jth location equal to %d for the value, comma I j mem of I of j. Okay. So in this way you can able to get the value of the corresponding memory location. Okay. That we will discuss later.